Okay, so I was the reason I couldn't remember how to do it on the tables because you can't do the table. The only way you can find the p-value is to either do StatCrunch or do the calculator. So we already know that we're going to reject H sub O, but I do want you to see that we're going to because of the rejection region. But we are going to be able to find the P by doing StatCrunch. So I'm not going to be able to complete this problem unless I do StatCrunch or the computer. Um, because I can't find P without it. Now, could you stop the problem right now and write your fill in the blank sentence? Absolutely, because you chose to do it with the rejection region. But I want you to see both ways. Okay, so let's run over to StatCrunch real quick. And because we are working with the T table, when we hover over statistics, you're going to come down to T stats. Again, in this course, we only do one sample. I've set it up so that you could do some extra credit in chapter 8, and chapter 8 does two sample stuff. So, but it's not required. Do one sample. Remember, we don't have a list of data. We're dealing with summary statistics. So somebody's already given us these numbers right here. So we just type in this number. The sample mean was 19,189. The sample standard deviation was 2950. And the sample size was 14. We are doing a hypothesis test. So they want to know what hypothesis are we testing? What number are we testing? And it's 21,000. And then for our alternative hypothesis, the alternative is the one that does not contain equality. So which symbol did we use? The not equal to, the less than, or the greater than? And our alternative was less than. And remember, all of that is written down right here. There's the less than, there's the mean, there's the sample mean, there's the sample standard deviation. And you can have it plot the values if you want. We've already got our graphed, so I don't want to plot it. So I'm going to do compute. And here it gives us our t value, and it should match the one that we had. We wrote down negative 2.30. They have negative 2.296. You take that 6, round that up, you get negative 2.30. There's the p-value. The area for that t-score right there is 0.0194. So that's our p-value, 0.0194. So the p-value is 0.0194. Our alpha was 0.05. And when you compare these two numbers, you see that the 1 is smaller than the 5. So the p is less than, and if you go right up here, remember it's less than or equal to. So when it's less than or equal to, what do? We reject the null. Okay, so we've rejected the null. Now that we've rejected the null, remember, you have to come back here and see, okay, the claim, what was the claim? The claim was the null. So we're looking at this column right here. The claim was the null, and we decided to reject it. So the claim was the null, and we're rejecting it. So here's my sentence. There is enough evidence to reject the claim. So I write, there is enough evidence. Sorry, I'm holding my pen at the wrong place, evidently. At 5% significance level to reject, and that was the other fill in the blank word, the claim that, what was the claim? That used cars, that the mean price of used cars is at least 2,100. That the average price of a used car is at least $2,100. So there's enough evidence for us to reject that claim and say, nah, we don't buy it. Okay, so there's that one. I think I've got time in here. I don't remember what time I started this, but I'm gonna go ahead and start this one. An industry analyst says that the mean age of a used car, so here's the claim. The mean age of a used car sold in the last 12 months is less than 4.1 years. I hate it when my fours close. So is less than 4 years. Does not contain equality, so that is our alternative hypothesis. What's the opposite of being less than? Being greater than or equal to 4.1. It contains equality, so that's our null. In a random sample of 25, 25 is not big enough, so we need to make sure, assume your population is normally distributed. So the small sample size is okay. A random sample of 25 used cars has a mean age. So remember, they're talking about right here, the sample, these 25 cars have a mean age of 3.7. Not all used cars, just these 25. And just these 25 have a standard deviation of 1.3. So they didn't give a sigma anywhere. So that's how we know that this is a t-test, because there is no sigma, no population standard deviation. So we know we're doing a t-test. All right, so remember, if we're doing a t-test, if sample size is 25, degrees of freedom is 24. If you're using that chart to do this by hand, then you'll need to do it that way. I don't think I'm going to do it this time. I'm just going to go straight to StatCrunch and enter this information. I will go ahead and draw the picture so that you can see both the rejection region and you can see with the p-values that we get the same outcome. So, let's see, our alternative was less than, so this is a left-hand test. Left-hand test. And I do need my critical value right here. So I do need my table for that because StatCrunch doesn't find that for me. So my critical value is, what's my alpha? Alpha right here is 0.01. So I am going to go to my t-chart and get my one tail test, 0.10. Run that what it was, 0.10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Yeah, it was. And degrees of freedom was 24. Degrees of freedom was 24. So go down to 24. Here's 24 degrees of freedom right here. And it's the one tail test. So remember, it is a left tail test. So we're going to write down negative 1.318. Negative 1.318. This is negative 1.318. Remember, this is our critical value. All right. Now we're going to use StatCrunch to find the actual t, the test statistic, and so we can see where it is, and it'll also give us our p-value. So go to StatCrunch again, go right back to the same place, do another t, stat, one sample with summary. And our summary for this problem is that The sample mean was 3.7. The sample standard deviation was 1.3. The sample size was 25. The population mean, the claim that we're trying to determine if it's right or not, was 4.1 years. And the alternative was less than. And we're going to compute. And our actual test statistic is negative 1.538. Negative 1.538. Let me change the color. Negative 1.5. Well, here is negative 1.3, so negative 1.5 is going to be somewhere over here. Negative 1.5, I think it was 38. So what did we see? We see that this is in the shaded region, so what do? We reject the null hypothesis. All right, now let's go over here and do compare P and alpha. P, I'll have to go back and look because I don't remember. P is 0.0685. P is 0.0685. And alpha this time is 0.10. So this number, 0.06, is smaller than this number right here. So we're going to do less than. And since it's less than, we reject H sub O. And again, it should make sense because the area for the test statistic is going to be everything from this side. So this area right here is obviously going to be smaller than that area. So we do reject H sub O. So we need to go back and do our little test right here. Let's see. The claim is the alternative, and we're rejecting the null. The claim is the alternative, so we're in this column right here, and we're rejecting the null. So this time, there is enough evidence to support the claim. There is enough evidence to support. There is enough evidence at 10% significance level to support the claim that the average age of a used car is less than 4.1 years. All right. Again, probably what I will do is I will do one more right here. And with this one, I will do the calculator, and then I will just post these written so that you can check my work, okay? So that you can have a chance to try them. I may have mixed them up to see if you can recognize a T from a Z. If I did that, then I'll do a video. I'll have to look at those closer.